Good morning, everyone. On today's show, I've got a major announcement because as of today, I am trying some totally new things with tech here on the stream. In fact, if this works, I may see significant improvements to streaming, capturing, my experience on my TV, and even every single game that I play when it comes to response time. I have some really cool stuff to talk about in just a moment. All this and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast. If I can find the intro. There it is. Alrighty, everybody. So first of all, this is the reason why the podcast is starting a little late today. It looks like the camera's actually a little crooked, isn't it? I can't really tell. The reason that we started late today is because I'm trying new hardware. At this very moment, I'm actually using new hardware in order to do this stream. Although it's not affecting this portion, the podcast, it will be affecting the gameplay portion. Just to jump over here and show you guys. So I know you guys can see this, right? So I got a question. Can you hear this? Can you guys hear that as I move around the menu? I hope your answer is yes. I'm going to see what people in the chat say. What you are seeing right there, okay, is a totally new capture device. I am not using my old one anymore, okay? You can hear it? Excellent. That is good news, okay? So I have some really good news for everyone. First of all, what is being affected, I am now broadcasting and recording at a better bit rate. I used to do 12,000 kilobits per second. I have upped that to 15,000 kilobits per second. So there should be about a maybe roughly 20 to 25% increase in quality when you're watching, whether you're on stream or you're on demand. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because basically the way I see it, we were having some issues with certain games. So for example, when I would play Street Fighter 6, you would notice that there was a lot of pixelization sometimes in big movement. And actually people who have noticed this are people who were watching that head-to-head video that was made, me versus Brian, back on Friday Night Fights. In that head-to-head video, you will notice that Brian's visuals are much clearer than mine. And the question is why? Well, there could be many different reasons. It could be the capture device that we're using. It could be the bitrate. So I said, you know what? If you remember earlier this year, I actually separated the different processes that my computer's using. One process for streaming is using the CPU, and one process for recording is using my GPU. So since it split that amount of processing, at any time, I realized I can up the bitrate. So I did this morning, and we're going to test this today, and we're going to see how everything looks with the increased bitrate on stream and in the on-demand video. So no matter how you're watching, please today give me feedback on this podcast. Later when we do gameplay, I would love to hear your feedback on how everything looks and sounds, okay? We need to actually mess around with settings as well because whenever I mess with stuff, everything changes, and I guarantee you that perhaps the volume level needs to be tweaked with today, which is fine. Now, the big change is something completely unexpected. I never expected this, but get this. As you know, this week, there's been a lot of changes. I've been trying to figure out the best way to play Street Fighter 6. We figured out just a couple days ago that if I play it with the input latency reduction feature turned on, that now I can play the game with no input lag. I've played it twice since then, and I've absolutely loved my experience, okay? However, the problem is when I do that, it creates screen tearing. If you noticed in the videos of both E Honda from Monday and Dalsim from yesterday, you would have noticed screen tearing in the visuals, and that's annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely annoying, and other people don't have that. So, you know, how do you get around that? So a lot of people are like, well, if you had variable refresh rate enabled on your console, it fixes that. Well, guess what? My old capture device, which I used for about a year and a half, was donated by a fan when my other old capture device died. That thing is kind of limited in what it can do. Although it does 4K pass-through, it can only do 1080p 60 frames. It doesn't support HDR. It doesn't support VRR. It doesn't support any of that modern stuff. Okay? So because of that, I couldn't do any of that stuff. So I'm like, I guess we're just going to be stuck where we are. Well, a viewer and fan of mine contacts me and says, Phil, I have a hunch. That since the AverMedia stuff works with your setup, that even though your PC is on Windows 8.1, I think that an AverMedia upgraded device would still work. Even though they claim on all their websites and documentation that you need Windows 10, I still think it'll work. So someone offered to donate me a new capture device to test. And if it doesn't work, no big deal. Just save it maybe for the future, for when maybe I get a new PC or something like that. So I said, hey, if you're willing to donate it, I'd be willing to try it. Listen, we're doing all kinds of good improvements this week, right? So why not give it a shot and just see what happens? So they did, and it showed up this morning, and this is it. This is the AverMedia GC553 Live Gamer Ultra device. Okay? It supposedly works on USB 3.1, which I don't even think I have. I think I have USB 3.0. I'm not sure. I mean, my PC's 10 years old. Was USB 3.1 even around back then? I don't know. Okay? This sucker is way more powerful than my previous capture device. So this one still does the 4K pass-through, but it also captures at 4K, if I so choose to do that. The catch is, it captures at 30 frames at 4K. So do we really want to go back to 30 frames per second gaming for the sake of doing 4K streams and videos? Probably not, okay? Now, the catch, or the other cool thing about this one, is that it does 1080p, get this, pass-through resolution up to 240 hertz, or that is 240 frames per second. Yeah, it does incredibly high hertz pass-through, okay? As for recording, it can actually record at up to 120 frames per second at 1080p. Okay? That's pretty crazy. It does 120 frames. So, it's a big upgrade. All right? It is. It's a big upgrade from what I've been doing. So, theoretically, this thing, if it works with my PC, okay, if everything, jives and we don't have any problems, I should be able to play games either at 4K 60 frames or 1080p 120 frames on my TV locally. And chances are, since this is a more modern piece of hardware, I think this is only like a couple years old, actually. I have to look at the, how it has the years listed on it. I'm not sure how old of a piece of tech this is. 2023. It's only a year old. It's a 2023 device. Chances are the encoding on this thing is much better than that outdated device that I was using for a year and a half. That means that probably video is going to look much better for you guys. Like, it probably won't have as much pixelization to begin with. Okay? But the question is, will this work with my PC? Because it says right on it, Windows 10 required, USB 3.1 required. Well, guess what? It showed up this morning at 9 a.m. Now, I had to rush around my house to get everything done this morning and get in the office and mess with this. Okay? Guess what? It works. It works fine. It really does. So let's take a look, okay? Here it is. And as you can see, guess what? HDR is enabled. This is HDR quality right now, which is why it actually looks like a nice, deep, darker, blacks on the screen. It actually has it enabled. No filter required. It just works with HDR out of the box through my console. The console auto-detected it and said, oh yeah, HDR enabled. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. So basically what we have here, you guys are seeing 1080p 60 frames per second HDR enabled video at 15,000 kilobits per second. Okay? I am able to see 120 hertz. I'm actually watching 120p right now on my TV. Now, am I necessarily seeing much difference? Not really. But I mean, we're not playing a game. Once we jump into a game, maybe I would actually notice the difference. I'm not sure. I've never used 120 hertz before, so I don't even know what I'm going to see as a difference. You know, we won't know till we play a game. So this is going to be an interesting experiment today. Today we're playing Multiverses and we're playing Hades 2. And yeah, I'm going to try to run both at the 120 hertz, 1080p, and see how they work, you know. Now, here's the catch about this, though, is that Street Fighter 6 doesn't run at 120 hertz, okay? They actually limit it to 60 frames, but if you play it at 120 hertz, supposedly it lowers your input delay, okay? So what I want to test today, which we're going to test live on this podcast, I am re-downloading Street Fighter 6 to my Xbox, and I want to play it at 120 hertz on my TV, but I want to see if it reduces the input delay, okay? If it doesn't, I want to see what happens if I do that input delay option again and see what happens on the Xbox version. I'm just curious, comparing Xbox versus PS5, if I can get a version to not have the screen tearing but also have reduced input delay, that's the best of both worlds, and that's what I'm going for. This capture device has everything enabled, right? I can do the 120 frames, so maybe we're going to actually be in a situation where this is going to run better. I don't know, okay? Now, the only other variable here, so we have HDR enabled. We have 120 hertz enabled. This is all good improvements. But what about VRR? I don't think Xbox has it, does it? Because I look in the Xbox menu, it doesn't mention it anywhere, okay? In fact, I can read it for you word for word. I will actually. Let's do that. So I go into TV and display options. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. All right. Here's what I'm looking at. So right now it's 1080p because I'm at 120 hertz. So here's your TV details, right? So look, your TV supports 4K 60 hertz, but it doesn't do 4K 120 hertz. We know that the capture device doesn't do 4K 120 hertz. You support native 1080 120 frames per second and HDR. I don't know what Dolby Vision is. I have no clue what that is. Okay? So it doesn't mention anything in this menu at all about VRR. So I don't know where the Xbox console would mention VRR at all. Okay? I'm just not sure. I'm kind of scratching my head on that. Like, where would it show that? I don't know. What is it? Video modes? Oh, this is all the modes that are enabled. Oh, look, variable refresh rate off. It's not even selectable. You see that? It's not selectable. So maybe it's saying that I don't have it. I don't know. I don't know if this TV has VRR. I actually have no clue. I know it had HDR, but I wasn't looking for VRR when I bought this TV like 2 years ago. So maybe the TV doesn't have VRR. Okay? If that's the case, then there's nothing I can do about it. But as you can see, it's grayed out. So I don't think it's detecting it. Okay? Anyway, you have to turn it on from the TV. Yeah, but how? Like, every TV's different, right? I don't know how to do that. I don't see anything in my TV settings that say anything about VRR anywhere. Like, I go into, let's see here. I'm looking at all my TV settings. You guys can't see my TV settings, okay? Here, I'll go back to my full screen. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going through my TV settings right now. I see nothing at all. Like, there's picture modes, but that's just like gaming and stuff like that. When you go into picture settings, all it says is gaming, and then it has auto picture mode, brightness, color, clarity, motion, video signal. None of that says VRR. In any menu, there's no VRR listed. So, and then if I go into general settings, channels and inputs, display and sound, network and internet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything about VRR in the TV at all. You know? It's a Sony TV. People know the model because I talked about it earlier. Channels and inputs, external. My Ruben is looking it up. Okay, external inputs. External device setup, manage inputs. Okay. How would I do HDMI signal format? Okay. It says enhanced format. Oh, VRR. Select this option only if your game console supports VRR. I selected it. Oh boy. I might have it. I just turned it on. Okay, I just enabled it. We're going to see what happens now. It's on. Holy shit, it's on. It worked. Thank you, MyRuin. MyRuin looked up my TV settings and found it. Holy shit, so now I have VRR. Oh my god, this is going to be the biggest upgrade ever. So, I literally just went from 1080p 60 frames, no features, to 1080p 120 hertz, 120 frames, HDR, VRR enabled. Holy shit. Thank you, MyRuin. You are awesome. Thank you for looking that up. Wow. I have variable refresh rate. So now, I should have the absolute best experience playing every game. I should have the least input delay. I should have ultra good response time, right? And we're going to test it. Oh, we're going to test it right now, folks. By the way, today is Wednesday, the 29th of May, 2024. Sorry that we're 15 minutes into the show and I didn't even announce the date yet. If you can't tell, I'm a little excited about this. Street Fighter 6 is still downloading. I'm going to have it fully download, and then I'm going to test it. Because I'm curious, with variable refresh rate, we may be able to play it either on Xbox or PlayStation 5 and have no screen tearing and no input delay. This is going to be crazy, man. I'm so excited. And every game moving forward, I can play at 120 frames per second. And if I want to, I can actually capture it and broadcast it at 120 frames per second. Now, the catch is, I don't know how well YouTube's going to do that. How well YouTube would even implement that. You know, I have no clue. I mean, you're doubling the frame rate. That means that it might take double the processing. So it may not work well, and it might destroy my CPU, and I might not be able to do it. Like right now, okay, with this podcast, broadcasting and recording at each video at 15,000 kilobits per second, I'm using 36% of my CPU, which means I'm probably using the same thing on my GPU. If I did 120 hertz, 120 frames, it would probably double that. So I'd be pushing 70, 80% on each all the time. How long did I have this TV? About a year and a half. It was late 2022. I think the last one died. And that's when I got this one. Yep. That is true. Avarice says not many games other than shooters would even have 120 frames. You're right. Oh, man. So anyway, once Street Fighter 6 finishes fully downloading here, we're going to test it live. We're going to test it and see if it runs with the VRR. And we're going to see what my input delay is like. But I got to plug my old joystick back in. I haven't used that joystick since last year when we were playing it on Xbox. So, that's right. You were helping me choose a model of TV. We were looking at all these different ones, and I got a good Sony. This Sony, like I said, this Sony TV supports everything. HDR, VRR, like it supports every feature. Oh, did it finish? I think it actually just finished. So, try Call of Duty. I don't want to play Call of Duty. The new Call of Duty I'll play. I don't want to play the old Call of Duty on here. I had enough of that. We're playing Multiverses. I wonder what Multiverses is at, right? I don't know. You think YouTube caps at 60 frames? Is that true? YouTube does not support higher than 60 frames? I don't know about that. But here's the weirdest thing about all of this, okay? This device claims you need Windows 10 and USB 3.1. I'm running on Windows 8.1 and probably like just USB 3.0, and it's working fine. So why does it say that crap, right? Why? So they're full of it, probably because they're trying to cover their own butts, so that you know, oh, be sure you have everything you really need, but you don't need it. It's just weird that it works like no problem. I mean, I didn't have to do nothing. I just plugged it in and it's working. Multiverses runs on 120 on PC. Oh, that's interesting. All right, I want to do a test live here on the show. I do. I want to see what happens with Street Fighter 6. I know this is unprecedented. I usually would not have a game for the podcast. But I mean, I'm dying to test this. I don't want to cut into our Multiverses time. Okay? So, let me actually dust off my it's ancient. My joystick's been sitting here for a while. I need to clean it. I'm going to plug it in to my Xbox, and I'm going to see how this game runs on Xbox. In this case, it won't even matter like what version I play at this point. You know, what's up, Jade? How you doing? So let's test this, okay? Going to here it is, the old joystick. This is the Hori Fighting Stick Alpha that I was using on my Xbox for a couple of years, anticipating Street Fighter 6. We used this all the way through until like the fall, and that's when I started playing on PS5. So real fast, I'm just gonna run and get some cleaner, and I'm going to wipe the top off because it's really dusty, and then we're gonna test out Street Fighter 6 now running at 120 hertz. Someone said in chat, running Street Fighter 6 at 120 hertz should theoretically lower my input delay by half. So we'll see. All right, get 1 sec, guys. I'm just going to go grab cleaner. I'll be right back. If I get my mouse to work. Okay, I'm back with some cleaner. Clean this sucker off, and then we're going to do some testing live on the show. Unprecedented, never done before. Live testing. What sucks is I'm going to start hitting things here. When I touch the buttons, it's going to start searching, which I don't want to do. There's no way to, like, lock the joystick so it doesn't move around. So when I wipe this, this is going to fucking... Yeah, look. How am I going to do this without touching the buttons? I think I am. What is that? Ew, it's like goop. There's goop stuck on here. Ew. So these buttons are actually different than my other joystick, my Kanba, which is the one that I use on the PS5. This joystick is still nice, though. I really like this Hori joystick. I'll just do this. Let it fuck around. Let it search for crap while I clean it. That's correct. You won't get 120 frames for Street Fighter. You can't. Street Fighter 6 doesn't support 120 frames at ranked, but if you run it at 120 hertz, you get less input delay. So we'll only see 60 frames, but I'll actually have less input delay anyway. Okay, so that's what we're about to test. Okay, so, well, I gotta get used to this again, because now it's different. The joystick and buttons are different on here. Oh, boy. All right, let's do a test. All right. So, obviously, let me change my camera now. Theoretically, this should just work again because I haven't changed anything since I played it last year. It should auto log in and everything. Like that it goes to no signal. There we go.
Street Fighter 6.
If this works... I don't know what version to even play on anymore. It doesn't really matter, does it? I could play Street Fighter 6 on either version. I just got to get my characters to master again. But I could play on either version. Either one would work. And this version, no one could do the stupid pop-ups. The stupid, you know, spam invites or whatever. For some reason, that doesn't happen on Xbox. It's going to be an interesting test, everyone.
Street Fighter 6.
Okay. The master grind again. The master grind has returned again. Wow, it's taking forever to boot. Oh my god. It was the slowest boot sequence ever. Oh, that's right. I can get some bonus stuff. I don't have my headphones on. I don't care. I need them. So, alright, so we go to fighting ground, right? And So first thing I want to do is go to training mode. So this is 1080p 120 hertz for me right now. But I want to test the input delay. Because remember, we can turn off the stupid delay motion. All the characters are in it. Yeah, because remember, I have the season pass on here, so I have all the characters as well, even on Xbox. But who do I test? Test the same. Oh, I have another costume on this one too. I bought the other costume on here. Yeah. Right, I bought it. The game is louder than me? Okay. I'm lowering the game volume. Because here's the thing now. The new capture device will have totally new volume levels now. Okay? So I'm going to need to know how the game sounds, you guys. Well, for me, this looks silky smooth. And it seems really good. How does it look for you guys? Choppy? In my preview, it looks choppy. It looks choppy. It's not looking like it's 60 frames in my preview. It's still too loud? Okay. I lowered it even more. It's butter smooth for you guys, so it's just my preview. It's just my preview that looks like that. Okay. I don't care if my preview looks like that. So right now I'm at 48% CPU use. Okay. So, do I have to change game settings? This is a good question. Hold on. So, motion blur will leave on. Here's input delay reduction. Let's turn it to on. And let's see now if the game has has the vertical tear or not. You guys seeing any frame tearing? You know what? It looks weird to me now. The game looks weird now. It looks like it's less frame rate, honestly. It looks like the game has lower frame rate. It doesn't look like 60 frames anymore. But maybe that's the motion blur. Maybe that's the motion blur, because... Wow. It looks like I lost a few frames of animation on my TV. It looks like I have more frames on my PC. It does. Huh. Is the in-game audio desynced? You guys gotta tell me. I don't know. Some people are saying audio out of sync, and others say it's all right. So no one can figure it out. If it's out of sync, I think I can do a audio delay. Yeah, I can sync it. If I need to sync the audio, I can sync it. It's out of sync? Okay, hold on a second. This is 375. I'm going to try to fix it. Ready? This might fix it. Because the old capture device... Okay, the old capture device wasn't great, and I had to create an audio sync offset. I just removed the offset, okay? How's that? Is it synced now? Way better? All it was an offset. I removed the offset, so that should fix it. It's perfect now. So now I gotta figure out my frame rate situation, because it does look like the game is running at a lower frame rate now. On my TV, that is. On over here, it looks like it's actually full 60 frames over here. But it looks like on my TV, it might actually be dropping frames. Which is great. I have a great, like, I think this is, it's like instant. It is instant. Yeah, and there's no screen tearing, by the way. If you haven't noticed, there's no screen tearing at all anymore. We solved that problem. But now I'm getting frame rate drops, and that's bizarre. What if it's because of the Xbox? Maybe it could be the Xbox isn't running it as good as PS5. That could be. Like, I could literally play over here now. I can play over here. It's actually completely synced. Both the TV and the capture are synced perfectly. I can look right here, and they're both synced perfectly. That didn't used to be. This used to have a big delay. That used to be ahead. Now they're perfectly synced. So now I could actually play on my computer monitor if I want. Yeah. And I could never do that before. That's darn cool. Wow. No, the capture has no delay. I'm serious. I'm looking back and forth. They are perfectly synced. They're absolutely perfectly synced. Yeah. Absolutely 100% synced. Yeah, they're synced. That's crazy good. So, the only catch is I can definitely tell there's frame drops on the TV. And I'm wondering why there's frame drops on the TV. Could it be because we enabled the VRR and we turned off the input delay buffer? Maybe it would actually run better on PlayStation 5. Maybe it's the hardware. I don't know. The only thing I can do is turn off the motion blur. That's the only other option available on consoles. Now the drop frame rate's even more apparent. Yeah, now the drop frame rate is way more apparent. Does it drop in frames for you guys now? Maybe the motion blur makes it look better. It's not close to 60 on stream anymore? Really? So the motion blur makes it look better. It does. The motion blur makes the game smoother. What in the holy hell? That's weird. There is no performance mode. This is console. Console doesn't have any modes. That's the problem. Console doesn't have any options. I'll show you. Here's console's options. Look, this is it. It's performance mode by default. Motion blur on. That's it. You have nothing else you can do. And I got input delay reduction on. Motion blur probably mass frame drops. Yeah. I wonder if it runs better on PS5. I mean, we could boot it up over there and test it. You know? I'm going to try one match online just for the sake of messing around. I won't even have any audio because I don't have my neck phones on. But I'm just curious what it's going to sound like.
Versus. Special versus.
I'm not even master with Zangief on here. No, I'm not. Oh, shit. Where's Zangief?
Zangief.
Event bonus kudos. I'm Platinum 4-star. I'm doing a ranked match in Platinum 4-star with Zangief. Does the console have a VSync option in the settings? I don't know what you mean.
Here
the console itself.
New challenger.
Let's go.
Round one. Fight.
God damn it. Definitely lower frame rate. Who jabbed me right here? It's definitely the lower frame rate bothers me. It's not smooth for me. Wow. Oh. Oh my god, I tried to parry. Wow. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Come on. What? I tried EX. I tried EX spinning file driver. I got fucking entirely. Wow. Lost my test match. Fucking guy running away with fucking A. Mashing jet. Oh, I guess wrong. There you go, time to run away. Oh my god, like, when is my turn? Like, when is Zangief's turn? He just keeps getting to jab. Okay. Finish the set.
Round one. Fight.
Boosh! Break his back.
Round two. Fight. Is that all you got?
Bye-bye. Not to my groove. There we go. I would say no, pretty much no input delay. I just got promoted to 5-star platinum. I would say no input delay. We fixed it. No input delay on Xbox. The problem is the frame rate's dipping. It's not 60 frames for me. It's probably like 45 variable frame rate as I'm playing. I don't know how it looks for you guys on stream, but it's around 45 variable. Okay? No, the console version of the game has no graphical options. I've told you 17 times. Jeez, people don't listen. So, all right. The good news is we stopped the screen tearing. The bad news is there's some dropped frame rate playing. I'm curious now if we swap to PS5, it'll do the same thing, right? I think I should test it. How do I do this? Let's test PS5. The live testing bit continues here. Let me just swap over to PS5 now. PS5 test, everybody. The podcast continues. Tech Test Podcast. That's what we should rename it, the Tech Test Podcast. So, obviously, let me know if the volume sounds good on here, too. Because the volume's probably going to be different for everything. Now, here's what I need to do. We need to change the settings here. So, I want to do BRR on. Nice. I don't know what this is. Auto low latency mode? Alright, I don't even know what that is. Never heard of it. HDR always on. So now I want to have it be 120 hertz. So resolution 1080p, so I can get that 120 hertz. So now how do I confirm we're at 120? Okay. I guess it's gonna just do it. I guess it's just gonna do it, right? It doesn't really say anything else, so I'm assuming we're doing it right now. Like, that's what we're at. We're at 1080p, 120 hertz. We should be. No, it says 60 hertz. It says only 60. How do we get it to 120? It says HDR does up to 120. See that? But it says right now we're only doing 60. Why? How do we get it to 120? Maybe you only get 120 when you're in a game? Could that be? Okay, the menu will not be 120, only games. Gotcha. All right, so let's boot up Street Fighter 6 then. Joystick's all dirty. Oh well. Let's see what happens here. The menu will not run at 120. Okay. I must have good HDMI cables because everything's working, right? These are all cables that came with everything. You know what I mean? Like, the new capture device had new cables. Things that I bought recently all had, like, brand new cables. I'm not using ancient cables or anything like that.
Street Fighter 6.
Okay. Excuse me. Well, first of all, let's see if the screen tearing's been fixed. And then we'll do a demo. But I'm curious if the frame rate will be better on PS5. If the issue was running it on Xbox. Maybe Xbox couldn't handle it. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So first, let's do a quick training practice.
Training room. Oh, yes. Alright, let's get it.
Here we go. Tech test continues. Check the game again and you'll see. Okay. Or check the menu again and you'll see. So here we are. Now let's just confirm. Motion blur on, input reduction on. Everything, you see that? It's all on. Okay. You're right. It says variable frame rate. Yup. See that? Okay. You're right. Color seems off. What just happened? What happened to the colors? What the heck? What caused this? Oh, HDR maybe is or isn't on. It was on Xbox. Maybe HDR is not on right now. But how would I fix that? Oh shit. I don't know. I don't see anything about H. Oh, this is always on. On when supported. Okay, maybe that's what it was. I agree, that color was terrible. On the TV, it looked fine. On the capture device, it did not look fine. Automatic, automatic. All right, so let's try it now. Oops. Try it again. Hopefully that fixes it. Yeah, it did. It looked totally faded. I agree with you. I don't know why it looked like that.
Street Fighter 6.
Hopefully this is better now. We're about to find out. For everyone contributing, thank you. I will shout these out after our test here. Looks vibrant now, doesn't it? Looks pretty vibrant. Maybe this fixed it.
Training room. I'm tired of playing the sidelines. Gotta make my own highlights.
On the capture device, you need to change the color space in OBS for HDR. I don't even know if that exists. A very outdated version of OBS. Looks good though. The color looks fine now. I think it fixed. Oh yeah, it's fine. It fixed. There you go. Okay. So, question is, am I running at 60 frames? I think I am. I am. Yeah, dude. I'm good. I'm smooth. Yeah. How's it looking for you guys? I'm good. And I have input delay. Yeah, I'm good. We did it. With these settings, the next game you play that supports HDR will be washed out. Why do you say that? I have it set only turn it on when it's supported. I thought you could do that combo, but I guess not. I'm gonna do a test match. I think we're good. I think we solved every problem with this new capture device. Yeah, no screen tearing. I don't see a single instance of screen tearing now. I think we fixed it. Alright, let's do a casual match with Zangief. The HDR is not properly adjusted in the console settings. Well, then let's adjust it later. Because at this point, it's 12:17 on the podcast. Let's do one test match.
Here comes a new
Zangief mirror match. Great.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh! Bring me out, you bastard.
The sweet spot.
Nice. Oh, yes! Instant! I got instant counter drive impact, guys. I got it for the first time ever. Instant counter drive impact is possible now. Yeah. Nice. Got me. Nice. Fucked up. I pressed the button. Done. Very nice. I should have pressed the button. I wanted to parry and I missed my parry. Very nice. Down. Very nice. Oh, yes, baby! Ooh! Shit, that's a giant combo. You got me. Level 3 combo. He's gonna win. Here it comes. He missed it. Yes, guys, amazing. I counter drive impacted. Yo, that was so good. Yeah, he did choke. He had me in the corner. He completely choked and lost the match. Great match, but I'm not going to rematch him. Good match to that guy. I would rematch you, but I got a podcast to do. Holy crap, guys. We're golden. So the frame drops is because it was on Xbox. There's no frame drops right now. So we have no screen tear, no frame drops. I have immediate reaction when I press a button. This is the biggest improvement ever to my stuff. This is amazing. So, holy shit. Well, who would have thunk? Right? Who would have thunk? What just happened? Oh, it's now shutting down all the settings and go. Okay, see that? Every time I quit a game now, it's going to do that. All right, let's turn it off. Yeah, the PS5 runs it better than Xbox, that's for sure. You saw all those frame drops on Xbox. There's none on PS5, so I guess that's what I'm playing it on from now on. All right, well, guys, holy moly. What an improvement. This is absolutely excellent. I'm very pleased, obviously, with this development. Now, the thing is, we're not playing Street Fighter today, right? But, I mean, wow. And the thing is, again, the capture device claims that it needs Windows 10 and USB 3.1. It doesn't need any of that. It's completely lies. I'm fully supported here with my 10-year-old PC. So, there you go. All right, so today, guys, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. We got higher bitrate on the videos, higher bitrate on the stream, okay? HDR enabled for the games that support it, so we got to get that going for every game. I'll be playing at 120 hertz from now on, 1080p, 120 hertz. If there's a game where I want to go 4K, I can do that too. I have the option to do that, depending on the game. We'll see what happens there. Wow, just amazing, right? I mean, what a change, what a difference. Now, we have a podcast to do in turbo mode, all right? Few quick things to cover before we get to shoutouts and the schedule. Game news today is very brief. 2 things are going on this week, both on Thursday. We already know about the Silent Hill event that's going on Thursday. There's also a Sony State of Play at 3 p.m. Pacific time this coming Thursday, May Oh, it doesn't say. What's Thursday? Tomorrow, the 30th. And so both of those shows are going to feature all kinds of announcements and stuff like that. Supposedly the state of play is only 30 minutes long, so there's not a ton of information in it, but I'll be, getting caught up on that tomorrow and letting you guys know all about that. As well as whatever announcements there are in regards to, Silent Hill. Also, Activision just won a default judgment in a court case against cheat provider Engine Owning. Engine Owning was a company that was literally creating cheats for games, and basically they got sued and lost, and now they owe $14.45 million in damages plus $292,900 in legal fees. Ouch. Okay, that's the news for today. Schedule-wise, today, it is Multiverses Take 2. I'm going to attempt to play Multiverses today. Hopefully it works. I'm excited not only, obviously, to see, how the game is, but how it's going to look now for you guys. It might look way better improved than it has ever before here on my setup. So this is very cool stuff today. I hope you'll stick around for Multiverses after this podcast ends, because it's going to be a cool experiment to see what it looks like. Okay? Tonight on the late stream, I'm playing Hades 2 for the first time. So that's another thing. I got to get the mini PC now set up to do 1080p, maybe 120 hertz. We got to see if it'll do it. Because for Hades, I don't think I want 4K. I think 1080p is fine. So I'll probably do 1080p, maybe 120 hertz, see if I can get that working. But yeah, first ever late night stream of Hades 2 tonight. I'm off from streaming tomorrow. When I come back on Friday, it'll be Fallout 4 on the day stream and Friday Night Fights Street Fighter 6. Now, with my newly updated setup, no input delay, no screen tearing. It's going to be really awesome. I cannot wait to play it. I can't wait for you guys to hang out with me then. And then over the weekend, essentially, we're going to be doing so much, good variety of stuff. There'll be more Multiverses. There will be, more Street Fighter, more Hades, and, everything. Good variety of stuff coming up in the next week. Okay? So, there we go. I think it's time for shoutouts. Now, we have no contributions whatsoever on the YouTube side of things today, but we do have some tips to shout out. So, let's get started with that. And by the way, I want to say humongous, huge thank you, shout out to the fan who researched, found this new capture device, and surmised that it would work with my setup. I mean, it was a gamble, but I guess you just kind of figure, hey, if the AverMedia stuff is working, this is just the next step up from what I had, but it's the modern version. Why wouldn't it work? And it fucking works completely. Amazing. So thank you so much to the fan who donated that. That's going to help so much. Thank you. This is going to be such a cool experience now moving forward. All right. First tip of the day. Is just a troll. So I'm just going to ignore the dumbass and move on. Okay. I received a $5 tip. Let's see here. Someone took me $5 and says they think they were accidentally banned. Hey, I'll look into it. All you got to do is email me, darksidephil@hotmail.com, and give me your information. Let me know your channel name, and I'll look into it. And if it's an accidental ban, I'll unban it. You have to understand, it could be the bot. It could be a moderator. It could have been a misunderstanding. I would say if you get moderated and if you find that you can't talk anymore and you feel, oh, what happened? Don't get angry. Don't get upset. It very well could have been an accident, too. Sometimes accidents happen, or someone misunderstands something, or it's a misclick, or, So, please email me, and I will look into it, okay? But I need you to email me and send me the URL of your YouTube channel, which is either the address or the actual URL address, and then I can look at your channel and see what's going on. Sadly, I can't look into it now live during the stream, though. I also received a $4.20 tip from Akuma's Monstrous Schlong will Magatsuki you. Wow. I'm not putting that on the leaderboard. But thank you for a $4.20 tip. We actually haven't had a $4.20 tip in a while. There you go. Thank you so much for the $4.20 tip. I appreciate that. Mom. How's that cultural appropriation for you? Alrighty then. Come on, Mom. Okay. I received another $5 tip From Dan the Man. Thank you to Dan the Man for a $5 tip. This is up to $14 of tips this morning. Thank you so much. Shout out to Broseph, who is a member for 29 months and says, hope you had a good Memorial Day. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you. We had a chill day together hanging out on Monday. I didn't do anything particularly, different that day. We did honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country on stream. But outside of that, we had a good day. Cool. Excuse me. You call them URLs, not URLs where you're from? I've never heard anyone say URL. Everyone says URL. Right? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard. Okay. So, guys, this is excellent, right? Like, we're now going to have, by the way, definitely the camera's slightly off. We're going to have increased quality moving forward. This is an excellent thing. Not only will you guys have higher bitrate of the video and the streams, so everything should look smoother and better for you as you watch either live or on demand, but also I'm going to have the ultimate experience here. I'm going to either be watching in 4K, depending on if the game, I feel like warrants 4K, or I'm going to be playing at 120 hertz moving forward, which means optimal response time and frame rate. This is excellent. I'm so happy. This week has been a crazy whirlwind week when you really think about it. Me playing Street Fighter 6 Season 2, Year 2, getting so frustrated at it, because it felt like I was playing underwater, trying to learn Akuma, and I can't execute what is going on. This leading me to investigate and find out what really the root of the problem is, but then creating another problem with the screen tearing, leading to another investigation and finding the solution to that problem, right? Like, this is excellent. And this is all on a 10-year-old computer, for the record. A 10-year-old PC. I'm still doing it. Pretty crazy. So now honestly, I don't think it'll be a big issue playing PC players anymore in Street Fighter. We probably went from like insane input delay down to like 2 milliseconds. Seriously, like how much you want to bet? I was at like 7-8 milliseconds while everyone else on PC is playing with 2 or whatever, and I probably just went down by like 75%, right? No, bro, so my issue wasn't my TV. My TV is only a year and a half old. It does HDR, it does VRR, it does everything. The problem was my setup. My capture device didn't support any of that. Yeah. Pretty cool. So, Drew, thank you for the membership. Awesome to see improvements. Mama, we made it. Thank you, Drew. The Dan Man, Timmy $1 says, good news. The studying session paid off. I've passed my exam last night. Let's go. Congrats to the Dan Man for passing his exam. And thank you for the $1 tip. I told you guys when I got this TV back in fall of 2022, it was a really good Sony TV. I knew it. It was just that nothing else supported any of those features. That's why I wanted this TV, and people were like, oh, no, you don't want that one. It's too expensive. You're not going to need it. I was like, watch this. I'm going to future-proof. And I did. And now I'm actually using all those features. Will this change my opinion on rollback netcode? Maybe. I'll tell you, I've played 2 days in a row, right? One with Honda, one with Dalsim, and I feel like I'm learning, and I feel like the netcode is good at this point. So I might owe, whichever Canon brother wrote the netcode, I might owe them an apology. I'm still not going to play that crappy League of Legends fighting game, but I might owe them an apology. What's up, Game Boy? How are you today? Welcome. So, wow, what a podcast. That was a fun one, huh? That was a different kind of podcast. Let me throw this out. Let me put my Xbox joystick back. What a shame that Street Fighter 6 actually doesn't run as well on Xbox, because that was definitely, we saw the difference. There was frame drops on my TV there. You guys probably weren't seeing them, maybe because of the 1080p post processing or whatever. I don't know. But I was actually seeing tons of frame drops on the Xbox. I saw no frame drops on PS5. So Let me just tell you guys how shocked I am. I thought this thing was going to show up today. I was going to plug it in, and immediately it was just going to have an error. Sorry, not supported. I couldn't have been more wrong. Holy moly, right? What a pleasant surprise. All right. So we still have a little bit of extra time. If anyone wants to talk now to end the podcast normally, if anyone has anything to chit chat about before we actually try multiverses for the first time, I got to get the Xbox hooked back up. Curious how multiverses will look with the new setup, you know? The damn man says he's at McDonald's. What do I recommend to get? Depends on what you're in the mood for. If you just want like a snackable, I always like their cheeseburger or, you know, a few McNuggets or something. If you're looking for a meal, get the quarter pounder. That's the only fresh beef in the store. Everything else is frozen, but the quarter pounder is supposedly fresh beef. Yeah, I'm doing multiverses on Xbox. I previously had it set up on Xbox, so like the account and everything was linked to the Xbox, and I said, I'd rather just do it on Xbox again, rather than have to get it set up on PS5 and fucking do another account for whatever it is or whatever. I don't even know what account it is. WB Games account or something. It was already previously set up for the beta on Xbox, so I'm just going to continue playing it over there. Yes, I still split my encoding. I believe it's the stream is being encoded by the CPU, and the on-demand videos are being recorded by the GPU. I've split that process, and that's why it was around 40-something percent, 48%, I think it said, when we were actually playing the game. And that's where it left off. So, where's Jasper today? He is not in the office, because my wife is home. I'm being told on the Xbox version there's frame drops and crashes. Great. Great. But I think Sony will announce a new IP or sequel stuff. I don't know. Being that it's only a half an hour state of play tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be any ginormous jaw-dropping announcements. There may be some things like, you know, follow-ups to things we already know. I'm not expecting anyone to go, oh my God, I can't believe this, or anything like that. Darcy actually, I suspect maybe your HDMI cable on Xbox didn't have the 2.1. Oh. No, it's the same cable. It's exactly the same cable. It's not a different cable. I just unplug and replug the same cable into the consoles. It's exactly the same cable. So it actually is the Xbox. That's the problem there. It's the same exact cable going from the console to the capture device. It's identical setup. Yeah, all these cables are fresh now because both HDMI cables are new. This HDMI cable is from the device. The other HDMI cable, I want to say, came with the TV, which is a year and a half ago. So that's two cables that are pretty much fresh, brand new, should be up to date on supporting absolutely everything. Dark Souls Master, it's all good. You don't have to mention that in chat. It's okay. Doesn't matter if they're new. It matters if they're HDMI 2.0 or 2.1. Well, again, why would they give me outdated cables with new tech? Why would you sell me a Sony TV that has VRR, HDR, right? All these next, current gen awesome features, and then give me an outdated cable so none of them work, right? How much is the capture card? You can look it up. Hold on. It is the GC553 Live Gamer Ultra from AverMedia. This is what I'm using now. Only 2.1 supports VRR, so you must be good. Okay, yeah, because VRR is enabled for both. So there you go. And again, when you look at the box, it's so odd because it says right here, where is it? It says on the box it gave me an HDMI 2.0 cable. It says on the box it only has an HDMI 2.0 cable. So how could I have VRR working then? And it is working. I don't get it. Both consoles said VRR was enabled, but it claims this is a 2.0 cable on the box. I don't get it. Yeah. Maybe the box is wrong. Because I'm reading it right now. It says it was the capture device, a Type-C to Type-A cable, HDMI 2.0 cable, and a quick guide. That's what it comes with. But how is VRR enabled then? And it definitely is, because as you saw, no screen tearing anymore. The screen tearing's gone on PS5. So definitely it's working. So maybe it's a myth. Maybe you don't need HDMI 2.1 for VRR. Cable from the console to the TV is HDMI. No. There's a cable going from the console to the capture device. That's the one that came with the device. Then there is a cable going from the device to the TV. That's the one that came with the TV. So if either one of those cables wasn't 2.1, VRR would not work, and it's working because we've solved the screen tearing. So I don't know. I don't get it. See what tech is so fucking weird? I don't want to mess with this shit half the time. I just want to touch it. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole because you never know what's going to work, what's not. They lie about shit. Like it says, where's the system requirements? Here. Yeah, see? Interface 3.1 Type-C. I have a 10-year-old PC that has USB 3.0. I don't think it's 3.1. So why does this capture device work? It's a 10-year-old PC. Why would it be working? I don't know. Right? Input and output pass-through HDMI 2.0, it claims. Pass-through resolutions. It gives you all the resolutions. Operating system requirement. Windows 10 or 11. I'm using Windows 8.1. Still works fine. And it tells you what hardware you need to have it work. Well, I don't even know if that's correct. Yeah, so I don't know, man. 3.1 is needed for maximum throughput, highest possible resolution, FPS, and bitrate. Yeah, but it's working. I'm at 4K. I could do 4K 30 frames, which is the limit of this thing, on stream. I could do 4K 60 frames on my TV. So it's working. That's the maximum available, and it's still working. So all it means is that Microsoft will not give you support if it doesn't work. That's why they don't want to list it in the specs. Ah. Yeah, I lucked out. I lucked out. Yes, I did. All right, well, this is going to be interesting today. Hopefully everything works right? Oh, of course it falls on the floor. All right, turn the Xbox back on. Ugh. Turn the Xbox back on. Make sure it's still working. It hasn't exploded yet. All right. All right, so make sure everything's still working. Yep, everything's still working. Cool. And variable refresh rate is always on. Sweet. HDR on. So good. All right. Well, moving forward is going to be pretty interesting, that's for sure. All right. I guess we'll end the podcast, shall we? That was a heck of a podcast. That was a fast one because we were tech testing. Never did that one before, right? Okay, let's end the show. I'll break briefly to use the restroom, and then we're gonna try multiverses. It better work today, man. After yesterday's nightmare, multiverses better work today. I mean, what a joke that yesterday we couldn't play it, right? All right. Are we good? What does that mean? Night Shift says, Aggro Crab's Carb Soul says you can use their music. What are you talking about? Huh? What the hell does that have to do with anything? Why would they just say that? What are you talking about? What? Huh? Snow Carl Remix 76 tipped me $1. It says, my friend just got out of a polyamorous relationship and said it was awful. Why do you think they're becoming more popular in society? Because people are becoming increasingly more stupid. The dumber you become, the dumber things you do. There's no other explanation for it. Okay. There you go. Nice. Thank you for the $1 tip. All right. Let's end the show. And then we'll get started with our Multiverses launch experience, which should have been yesterday, right? So, thank you guys very much. And I shall let you all know on Friday, because I won't be here tomorrow. I'll let you all know on Friday how today went. Hopefully today goes smoothly with the increased bit rates I'm using, with the increased capacity for all my equipment. I'm very excited to jump into everything today, and I hope you guys will join me for the fun. Thank you guys. I will see you Friday.